This is part 2. Let's dive back into the Akash. You have to watch part 1. I had to stop the video because I had something I had to do. But getting back to the beginning where thoughts and feelings are forming. Okay, I traveled through this infinite space, had no beginning or end. But I actually, like, how I got to the beginning and what I saw was like a potential, like a feeling, bouncing off invisible borders, creating structure and thoughts, organizing feelings. It was like chaotic potential. So this is what I called mother feeling, father thought. The feeling would like bounce off these invisible barriers that the father was building, and then he would speak order out of these feelings. And the feeling was like a demon, and the thought was like the angel. And they were working together in this place where things start to take form. It's still not even a beginning, but it's something like a beginning. And how I even got into this place was really weird. I had this Didi come to me and tell me he's been waiting to show me something. So I followed him, and he took me into this really weird place. He showed me that he was writing the books of existence, like every story. He was sitting at this massive desk in this like crystalline kingdom, sitting at this desk, and all he ever did was write the books of existence, every single one. And every single story that he was writing had a pathway and a room. So he was writing the books. I put a book, I don't know, just because, so I don't forget. Every single book he would write had a pathway to a room where the story was playing out in this like crystalline way. So there would be like all these pathways. There was like, I followed one in my story, and there was like this box, and my life was like a hologram playing inside this clear crystalline box. And all of these holograms were coming from stories that the architect or whatever was writing. And this, after I followed this layer, I got to the beginning where thought and forming started forming before him. So he was like God or something, writing the books of life. And beyond, inside of his consciousness, was the rawest form of existence. So he also had all these stories within himself. So he wasn't just writing people's books. He was writing his own stories, and they were coming to life like things in his mind, straight out of his consciousness. I don't know who this being was, but he was like grand and huge and glowing clear, like glowing clear. So that is kind of where some of my beliefs started, because I am really good at traveling spiritual and mental realms. So I'm telling you, if I say something, I mean it, because I only value the truth. And you can find any information this way by sourcing it yourself. So, after you leave the realms where the books are being written, you travel back through this thing into the physical. It's pretty trippy. I don't even know why I shared that story, but let's keep going with the reading. So the feminine is spiritual. It's pointing to spirit, the higher realms, the higher chakras. The masculine is more material, pointing down into the material plane. Once you marry the masculine and feminine is when you have the connection to both worlds. The spirit is so infinite, so even untamed, and the masculine sort of puts the untamed emotion or connection to intuition or these unseen things into logical, understandable forms. And it's literally doing that through physical manifestation as well. But personally, okay, I was very divine feminine. Then I got into my masculine for a while. Then I went back to my feminine. And I use my masculine as an extension of myself. So I feel more feminine. But I have gone through the marriage between them. And I even like fell in love with my own masculine because it was like the lover I never seen in the real world. A lover I found in myself. But I feel like I'm more divine feminine. But I've been through the merge. And I was just seeing two circles merging like that. I saw two circles merging through the marriage between aspects. But these aspects can also separate. And one could incarnate, they could be like an incarnation of the same person in two different forms sometimes too. It's not always just one person in themselves. You can have a person that's an extension of your own, completely of your soul, come to you in the physical, or you could have it all embodied just in you. Nothing I say is meant to make anyone feel more or less complete. I don't know, by saying things should connect or your environment's an extension of you, I don't know why that triggers people so much. It's like it's a defense mechanism, like they can't accept that this world might be working in your favor or has a lot to teach you. But you got to go in first. It's not all about going out, but you just have the out teach you about the in, and vice versa. So there's some kind of trauma or trigger why people get so offended by that, but it's actually quite peaceful and it shouldn't cause any disruptions for you. So I also like see spirit being very positive, very high frequency, and yet also chaotic and untamed, like emotion at the same time sometimes. And maybe I'm seeing the way that the thought has already organized the emotion and stabilized it, and I'm seeing them as one. So it's like order and chaos in the same space. That's what I think I'm seeing here. Maybe not entirely in the same space, but there's an overlap, a harmonious overlap between positive and negative. Things I've seen while traveling the unseen. Let's talk about it more. So like I said, those feelings putting into form or whatever I saw in there, after I saw that, you know how it bounces around, like I said, it starts to build grids with more and more realized potentials, networking with other aspects of thought until it starts to build grid systems. And these original thoughts and original feelings, they start to sew the network together, and points where aspects of consciousness below the first thought and feeling, anything below the first thought and feeling, when it becomes realized and builds the network, becomes the gods and goddesses. So there are some of the rawest aspects of creation realized into formless form, as like a trickle down system from the first thought and feeling, the mother and the father. And I noticed when I was in there, I don't know why I put that drawing, it disappeared, but when I was in there, I noticed that the first thoughts and feelings, the first thought and the first feeling was unconditional love. So it was like unconditional love, chaotic, crazy, but love in every way. And then the first thought that it bounced off of, this is just what I saw when I was in there, was to bring limitation to chaos, to tame the chaos. So like this is unconditional love. This is love within limitations. So order and chaos were the first thoughts and feelings. And then it starts to get polarized into like many gods and goddesses who reflect all the different aspects of consciousness and spirit. And they build the grid system. So from kind of a nothingness, a primordial nothingness, all thoughts and feelings built a network that came before form, but it reflects everything that trickled into form before, as it became realized in the process of realization. And so this is like some of the rawest energies there are. This is not really in the 3 or 4D, like, or anything less. Like, this is way up there. So it's kind of hard to comprehend for most people, but the networks have been built for a long time. Now we're just working with what we've been given and refining it. Refining it and aligning it to that correction timeline point. And then the gods, aspects of the gods, infinitely spread down into the lower realms, aspects of their existence, their purpose, and human beings can embody an aspect of God's too. The energy signature of the most original potentials and purposes. And some of those God aspects trickle into the physical, and many humans could play them out or embody parts of the gods. So the gods stay kind of formless, but they work and act through humans and through elements, Spirit says. 11:11 on the clock, right when I paused that. I'm not the type to say the numbers like people do, but I thought that one was interesting. Because 22 is my master number. 11:11 is 22 when you add it up. And I've been thinking about the number 11. So February 22nd is my birthday. That's why I love the number 22. It's the number of building. And I've always understood the way the universe has built itself. And even more than I'm saying today. You know, I'm just saying the tiniest bit today. But maybe some of you guys are realizing, like, mastering these teachings. Because 11 could be mastering teachings. And 11:11, building upon your mastery. I think that, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but like the 2020s years, all these years with double twos in them, I think we're really like learning how to master reaping what we sow and the effects of what we sow and how it comes back to you. Some of you guys are the trendsetters, the originals, like me. We come up with our own information. You know, we do it very unique. And then other people kind of play off of what we bring, which is cool, I guess. Like, it's all a dance of creation anyways. And when we work together, we build new networks that people can work with. But at the same time, it's like you bring information, at least as a reader, I bring information to help people. And then there's some people who like twist the narrative, and it's like sabotage, and they've made it personal. And they take my readings and they twist it into some evil agenda. And it makes absolutely no sense. And if you try to tell them to stop it, knock it off, this is my mental property. This stuff on my channel is my property. And if you try to ask them to knock it off, they have no respect for your mental property, your creation. And they just like play off everything you say and twist it. So don't listen to people who do that to my readings. You guys might notice that on other channels out there, whatever, people twisting my readings. They are in their most original raw form as they are when I share them, before humans distort them. And they are here to serve you and help you in your life, not to harm anyone. Just remember that. I feel like I had to say that just to make sure you guys are on the right page with me and know my intentions. Some people really just need to get grounded with their own effect and stop blaming other people. That's the 4. Being stable with your environment and how that's a part of your internal being. You know, resistance is reflecting something inside of you that needs to be addressed personally, one-on-one with you and God, not you and the world for these people. Some people are all kinds of hot and bothered and paranoid for absolutely no reason. Anyways, let's move on to the next vision. So basically, this is how I see things. I see 0 as Spirit, 1 as the soul, the embodiment of spirit. 2 as the mind, the embodiment of the soul. 3 as the body, the embodiment of the mind, soul, spirit. 4 as the environment, the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit. And it goes both directions. We extend with spirit inside of us to make form, to make a mind, to interact with others, the environment, blah, blah, blah. And then it also extends from the outside in. Everything outside has all of this inside. I said a million times, but everything's within everything, intertwined. It stays separate because like the mind is, and the matter is so dirty and dense, and spirit is so pure. But at the same time, they're folding out in and out of each other like they're nothing separate at all. Like they have to have each other to exist. And although duality seems very polarizing, it's supposed to be harmonious. The number 2 is supposed to be harmony between the 2 aspects of your mind, logic and intuition. And then basically, when you're walking this path, it's only natural that your mind and your spirit start to reflect everything that happens to you in your environment. It manifests. Maybe not always exactly how you pictured it, but it is. It's being interpreted into form through you. You're the interpreter of form in a way for spirit to manifest. A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3. Do, re, mi, A, B, C. You guys ever get like random songs that pop into your head that you don't even listen to? Anyways, our awareness and understanding of these things can only grow. So there's nothing wrong with diving in and seeing what you can see and exploring. But I think that these are teaching moments for everyone. We're really focused on growing internally and with the environment and others at the same time. People spent a lot of years doing the inner work. That's not forever. Eventually that will harmonize with the world around you. This world around you is not meant to make you feel trapped. It's only our view that can trap us. The world's not really trapping anyone. Well, I just sneezed like 4 times in a row. I should have kept it on camera, but I don't want you to hear me sneezing. But that had to be a confirmation sneeze. 4 sneezes in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So even if this made no sense to you, what I said today, just think of it as everything in creation is doing a dance between unconditional love and limitations, and trying to define that. And it can be redefined and rebuilt at any time, or just allow it to continue to show itself. Even if you don't have to peel it apart, it'll show you either way. The guy who was writing those books, I don't think he's God, but he seemed like a God. I don't think he's the creator God or anything. But he was like frozen in time, like eternally writing stories. That was all he ever did. And he even showed me in a way how many aspects of consciousness are sort of stamped on the fabric of existence, or stamped on time. And even if we're talking about tarot cards, say these are tarot cards, like, I don't know, I put a joker, like a fool, a queen, an 8, whatever. Imagine those are all moments, impressions on time that live forever. So you could literally explore the fool archetype as if he's a real being. Like you could talk to him, not just a card. And all these things were built through experience. So it's just telling a story, a universal story that's forever imprinted upon all things. And like I'm telling, if you ever get to that guy who writes the books, he is so stoic. He barely even speaks. Like I could barely even get him to talk to me. He just told me to go look at my room, my invisible room. You don't even want to know what I saw in there. I saw myself like swirling and dancing like a ballerina or something, like a ghost of a ballerina, spinning on a pin a pinpoint and like spinning like a ballerina while this clown was like messing with my aura. And that was during a time when I was under attack by an evil clown. And I actually had to fix that. I got rid of that clown eventually. That was one of the hardest deities I ever got rid of. But I don't even know how it got in. Like, just traveling these infinite realms, things can get in. I traveled the realm of the fool archetype. That's probably how he got in. It always looked like this clown who would play tricks on me. But I finally banished him. I actually healed him. Like, I helped him to feel love and not want to cause harm. And he actually ended up leaving on his own, which is what I always do with demons, is I'll heal them so they don't hurt anyone else, and so they'll leave me the hell alone. But yeah, all these things are stamped on time. They seem frozen, but if you go into it, it's still playing on and on. So I see a bowl full of food. I think this means detach from the things that don't serve your abundance and work with things that do, and people and energies that do. Okay, I feel like it's a detach and receive. Okay, this abundant bowl that's being passed around. You guys are eating good. You're looking good. You're doing great. God provides, and God will do that. The bowl could also represent needing to make an offering, or if you are trying to work with certain gods and stuff, it's okay to offer them something, just like I offered this painting to try to connect with them. They love art. They love they love when people are really connected to the muses, music, rhythm, art, poetry. That really appeases the gods. And no, you don't have to give them offerings, but if you want to work with them and you want to feel safe doing so, it doesn't hurt. Some of us carry many character aspects of the gods and goddesses, so working with them, it does teach you about you. Paused it directly on 2212, building 12. I think that's your whole chakra system, building your being or embodying the fullness of your being. I think that's kind of the overall theme of this reading for everyone, and realizing it can be done. It can be done. Yeah, a lot of you, I see you activating advanced code and deactivating faulty code. All of that demiurge, that purge, that parasite energy can be deactivated just like it's faulty code, and it's not that big of a problem. It's literally like all you have to do is recode it and then job done. So I'll just end by saying everything is defined by where you place yourself amongst the infinite existence. There's no, like, you can place yourself anywhere, okay? You could go to essence where everything's as one, or you could go through the labyrinth and see the many layers and levels. Or you could just allow it to unfold naturally and gently without having to worry about all of the details. It's up to you. You have creative freedom to do that because God loves you. All right? I'm going to leave this message alone for today, and I will talk to you in another video. Take care.